Today we have a mic that has almost too many features and it also comes at a very affordable price of just 2500 rupees. Hey guys, I am Siddharth and we have the Anti-Sports Vente 220 with us, and while this is way more advanced than your typical budget mic, there is one serious issue with it that we will talk about. Inside the box, you get the manual and warranty papers, a USB Type-C cable and the mic itself. The Vente 220 looks quite good ignoring its price, and for 2500 rupees it is really crazy how expensive looking it is. The RGB on top is of course a big highlight feature which is unheard of in this price segment, and this is also evenly spread across its grill, so it looks very premium. But it is when you hold this mic that you realize where the cost cutting went to, because this is mostly made of plastic even though it looks like metal, but that is really not a negative here, and they have used very thick layers of plastic with very good quality, so it still feels rather premium and durable. The grill and the frame surrounding its capsule does appear to be made of metal, which is great. The base of the stand seems to have a metal disc inserted in it, so the stand keeps it very stable and you can use it to tilt the mic at your desired angle. In addition to adjusting the tightness with these knobs on the sides, you can also unscrew these completely and take the mic out of the stand, and we are going to have a very important discussion about this later. At the bottom, we have a USB Type-C port for connecting it to your devices, so no software or audio interface is required with this, and it is great to see a Type-C port at its price. You also have a 3.5mm jack alongside it for monitoring through headphones, which is also a surprising feature to have at its price, and I tested it with my headphones and it works really well with non-audible noise flow. On the front of its body, we have lots of knobs. So starting from the bottom, we have a knob for controlling echo. Then we have the volume control knob for the headphone monitoring, the gain control knob for mic, which can also be pressed to mute it. And then there is an oddly named V-Ray button that is used for controlling the color of the RGB on this mic, and there doesn't appear to be a way to turn the RGB LEDs off. On the top, you also have a capacitive button to mute the mic, so let's test that. And now the mic is unmuted, so there are two buttons on this mic for muting it. You can press the RGB control button to change the color of the RGB, and while these are just static colors, you do have one rainbow cycle mode which will cycle through the spectrum. While you can set many colors on this, you can't set it to red color because that is reserved for when you mute the mic. And talking about what this sounds like, you have been listening to this all this while and it does sound pretty good for the price. It does seem to have some boost in the high frequencies which should make your voice sound clear, and even though it does sound somewhat compressed with a lack of smoothness that you hear with budget USB mics, it is completely fine for the price. The bass on it also seems to cut off a bit, but that can actually help you in many cases. This has a cardioid polar pattern, so it is going to pick your voice up from the front and it is not going to pick a lot of noises from its sides and its back, and this is the only polar pattern that most people will need. So this is what this sounds like from the front, and now we are moving to the side and the volume should reduce a bit. Now we are at the back and this is what this sounds like, and now we are moving back to the front and my voice should get back to normal volume. Now we are testing out what the proximity effect on this mic is like. So if you move your mouth very close to your mic, you may hear a boost in the bass parts of your voice, and this is what that sounds like. Now we are going to check out how this mic handles plosives. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. So the foam inside the grill does seem to kind of protect it from plosives, but that is not nearly as effective as a real pop filter. But if you keep it on a desk, then the distance is going to be big enough for the plosives to not be an issue. And you might also be able to add a pop filter to this. So overall, as far as the sound quality goes, this mic does deliver, and I would have considered it to sound great at its price even if it didn't have all the extra features that it has. And speaking of those features, one of the very interesting ones on this mic is its noise cancellation mode, which I just haven't seen on any mic at this price. It is enabled by default and you can toggle it on or off by long pressing on the mic gain button, and it actually works decently well. It's not using any advanced algorithms, but it can reduce the ambient sound quite well, so getting this feature at this price is really crazy. So I'll show you how well it works. I'll play some pink noise and this is what this sounds like currently. And now I will turn on the noise cancellation. And you can see that the noise was reduced quite dramatically. Another really interesting feature that we have on this is an echo feature. So if you increase it, you will get reverb in your voice. So currently I have it turned off. Now we are at 50% and this is what this sounds like. And now we are at 100% and this is what this sounds like. Really don't think that this is something that you would use in general, but maybe for singing you may experiment with this. So even though this mic seems to be really amazing so far, one really big problem with this mic is that you can only use this while it is attached to this stand. So there is no quarter-inch thread mount on it that will allow you to mount this to a mic stand, and there are many reasons why this can be a deal breaker for you, because even if you just use your mic on a desk, the distance between you and the mic is generally too much for getting the best sound quality, and if you want to use your mic with a boom arm, then you just may not be able to use this. Now we have the mic on my desk and this is what that sounds like. Now I'll type with my Logitech G something keyboard with low profile switches and you can hear how much of my voice versus how much of the noise it is picking up. Now this is somehow fitting the shock mount for my Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, but this shock mount alone costs around 3000 rupees, which is more than the cost of the mic, so it may not be the most practical solution for everyone. You may be able to jerry rig something by inserting a rod into this mic from the sides, because this mic can be detached from its stand and you may be able to find something that works like this does, but that kind of a solution may not be ideal and may not let you adjust the mic's angle. It is a little surprising that they didn't think of including this very essential feature, because other than this mic has many extra features like RGB, noise cancellation and echo. But with all that being said, I think that more than 90% of people that I have seen using mics like the Blue Yeti use it with its stand, so maybe I am overestimating the percentage of people who care about this, and even for making YouTube videos, this can work well if you have a desk in front of you. Do give this video a thumbs up if you are liking it so far. So in conclusion, the Anti-Sports 20220 is really providing an exceptional value, and I have said it many times in the video, but it is really crazy how much you are getting with this mic, because in addition to all of these features, the sound that you get out of this is also really nice. You also get gain control on this mic, which is not available in some very popular mics from brands like Mauno in this price range, and that is a feature that I consider to be really essential. The only serious problem with it is that you cannot use it on any mic stand, so for most people, this will only be a desk mic. If you are a person who wants something only for their desk, or you can find something like this is obviously amazing. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I'll have links to buy this in the video description. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or a thumbs down if you disliked it. Subscribe with bell. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.